I'm going to do some annoying things. One of those annoying things is to introduce what I'm going to talk about. I find that annoying when I'm in the audience, but I'm going to do it today. The thing that I wrote for that book, Unscrolled, is about a story in the Bible where God tells Moses to scout out Canaan. It's the promised land he's giving to the Israelites. And he sends 12 dudes out to go check it out and come back to him and tell him how it is. And they go out, they come back with grapes and pomegranates and figs, and they report that yes, this is the land of milk and honey and figs and pomegranates. And there's one little problem. There are some huge, scary, dangerous tribes in Canaan. And the scouts warn the Israelites, and the Israelites freak out, even going so far as to scream that they'd rather go back to Egypt than have to fight the tribes. So two scouts, Caleb and Joshua, stand up and tell the truth. They say, no, we can totally hang there. They're not that bad. It's the land of milk and honey. Come on. So the Israelites are not reassured. They threaten to kill Caleb and Joshua, actually with stones. And God really flips his lid. He rants and raves, and Moses can barely keep him from killing all of the doubting Israelites. And he exiles them all into the wilderness for 40 years, and only Caleb and Joshua survive. So that was the story that I was interpreting. And now I have to switch gears just a tiny bit and talk about my relationship with my ex-husband. So we dated for almost 5 years, and then we got married, and it didn't end well. I think the simplest way to set this part of the story up is to read from our New York Times wedding announcement. Just one piece, not all the boring stuff. The couple were introduced in 2004, blah-blah-blah-blah-blah. They were not immediately attracted to each other. I thought she was loud and obnoxious, and she thought I was aloof and obnoxious, Mr. Saperstein said. Ms. Roper added, we didn't plan to see each other again. So, fast forward. And here's the story. It's called Truth versus Peace, or How My Little Tiny Life Reminds Me a Little Bit of Shalot Lakah. That's the Bible story. So, I married the wrong man. Before that, I'd had misgivings. When I would tell him I was upset about something that had happened between us, he'd say, I'm sorry you feel that way. I talked about my worries to my close friends and to some family, but though they listened and advised, no one told me not to get married. More than one friend recalled the trepidation they'd felt before committing to their marriage. You can't blame other people for not telling you the truth. Truth is often the enemy of peace. Most of us would rather stay safe than say what we feel is true. That is how I married the wrong man, after all. One friend told me the truth. She told me not to marry him. She asked a few cutting questions. Could I share my feelings with him? Could he talk to me about what I cared most about? Did he want to? Was the sex good enough? Did I feel connected to him? She told me she didn't think I should do it. I remember where I stood while she said these things. I was clutching my cell phone, pacing the sidewalk across the street from the house I shared with my boyfriend, looking up at the light from the windows as darkness shaded me in, and my friend was thousands of miles away, but she could hear me. I didn't feel angry that she told me the truth.
Clearly you're not God. I was so mad.
But I didn't listen either. Months later, she came to my wedding, flying across the country to be there, knowing I was making a mistake. It wasn't long before I left him.
Neither did the Israelites. I mean, they didn't listen to Caleb and Joshua. They were fearful, and they fucked up.
We divorced. I was sad for a long time. It was a mess of guilt and pain. But there's one indelible thing from that time, that single conversation, the voice of truth, the one person who put truth before peace. I aim to be more like her.